Hey there, welcome. I'm going to very quickly show you how to cheat at calligraphy. Now, calligraphy has come back into fashion a lot more these days, which makes me very excited because I love all forms of handwriting and typography and things like that. And this is going to just very quickly show you how you can obviously cheat at calligraphy and show off a sort of a party trick and make your handwriting a little fancier. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is choose a pen. Now you can use any sort of pen or even a pencil for this. I am actually using a Tombow pen today, which does have a brush end on it, but I'm not using the brush end. I am just using the sort of standard nib end, which is just like any other sort of texture or marker and that sort of thing, and that's what I want to use. So I want to think about what I'm going to be writing, and with calligraphy, the difference between calligraphy and handwriting is that calligraphy is obviously a little more controlled, it's more decisive, it's more thought out. Handwriting, like especially my handwriting, is a little bit chicken scratchings, and that's not what we're wanting to use. So I'm going to write just a couple of words on the next piece of paper. I'm going to show you how to turn that into a calligraphy piece. So I've written a very simple, just two-word thing that says hello lover, and it's quite basic, just a standard sort of script font across the top and just some block letters along the bottom. There's nothing too fancy there. If you do need inspiration for how to write your letters, my suggestion is to go onto Microsoft Word and pick a font that you like, write the words down on that document that you like, and sort of copy off that. I find great inspiration in actually picking a font and gaining some sort of different ways of writing letters and words from that. But all I'm going to be doing here now is I'm going to look at the lines and the line directions and the line weights. So if you were to break calligraphy right down to just like a very simple description of what's different about it, is it's all about line weights. So when you write letters, every letter has upwards and downward strokes, and calligraphy focuses on the downward strokes. So when you have a downward stroke, that is where the pressure is applied so that you get the thicker line, and that's where you get that very distinctive look of that calligraphy style. So we want to look at the letters that we've written, and we want to think about how we've written them and where we might need to add thickness on those downward strokes. So if I look at the first word hello, and I look at the letter H, and obviously where I started it went up, and then that line coming down is coming down. So this is where I'm going to want to add some thickness to it. And I'm not necessarily, well, look, you can if you want to, but for this exercise I'm not adding a great big chunky thing to it that I'm going to have to fill in. I'm actually just going to basically just double the thickness of that downward stroke, and I'm going to ease into it. It's not going to block out from the side. I'm just going to, thinking as if I was just putting a little bit of extra pressure on that, I'm going to add an extra line to it. And then obviously make sure that the bottom of those two lines do match and they don't look like two separate lines. And then my H obviously comes up again, and then it does come down. But when it comes down, it does go straight into an upward stroke again. So I'm not going to be thickening all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to think about where it's going to start to let go before it comes up again. And then I'll come across to the E. Now the E, it is still an up, that top loop is still an upward stroke, but as I come around and down, I'm going to be adding a thickness there again. And then I'm going to do the same with the rest of this word. So I've done my first word, and I can see now that it's lost that single line sort of drawing, and it has become a more defined word with the thickness of those downward strokes. And I can do the same thing with the block letters as well. And this is where I'm going to give it more of a, I guess, I can't think of what that style is, you know, that sort of old Victorian or Edwardian script style. But again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to focus on the sort of downward strokes. But here I am going to actually block it out a little bit more and give this even more definition than I did to the word above. So I'll start with my L, and obviously that first line is a downward stroke. So I'm going to block it out and bring it down. And then I can fill that in. And you don't have to, I mean, you can leave it open. But I'm going to fill it in. Now with the O, I can follow the line around, or I can block it down a little bit like in a straight line again, which we'll do that now. And you can have fun. I mean, you don't have to, you know, follow. I mean, you might want to have some of them to be quite thick and some of them to be thinner. Play with it, play with different words, see what sort of effects you can get. But I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of these 3 letters and finish off my little calligraphy piece. And just like that, I've cheated at calligraphy, and it looks more like a, you know, a graphic typography piece. If I was to do it on, you know, on a canvas or on really nice paper, and, you know, I could frame it or I could give it to someone as a gift. And that is how you can cheat at calligraphy.